In the murky depths of Britain's criminal world, one name kept surfacing time and again. Paul Green, a man more commonly known as the Big Fella. Paul was far from an ordinary criminal. He was smart, sneaky, and very dangerous. He stood at the heart of one of the largest smuggling operations the United Kingdom had ever witnessed. From behind the polished front of seemingly legitimate businesses, he quietly constructed an empire that funneled billions of pounds worth of narcotics into the country. His methods were refined, innovative, and years ahead of their time. So sophisticated, in fact, that for a long stretch it seemed nearly impossible for authorities to bring his true identity into the light. He was a mastermind, not a street thug. He was not your average hoodlum, nor a violent gangster waging bloody wars over territory. His vision stretched far beyond that. Paul was a strategist, a meticulous planner who knew exactly how to slip vast quantities of drugs past Britain's borders. Every move was calculated, every system carefully designed to make detection nearly impossible. While rival groups were tearing each other apart in brutal turf wars, Paul perfected a method that was quiet, efficient, and remarkably secure. For years, this silent machinery allowed him to thrive. Criminal networks from across Europe placed their trust in him, relying on Green to move their shipments safely into the British market. But no criminal empire lasts forever. In the end, Paul Green's empire began to unravel, and only then did the true scale and danger of his network finally come to light. Today, we uncover the story of Paul Green, the British drug trafficker who built a billion-pound empire, and the dramatic downfall that came in 2021 when his carefully crafted world collapsed. The first cracks in Paul Green's empire appeared with the rise of encrypted communication platforms like EncroChat. Criminals believed these secret networks offered them a safe haven to speak freely beyond the reach of law enforcement. But when investigators finally managed to penetrate the system, it exposed the inner workings of some of Britain's largest smugglers. And among them was Paul Green. Paul hadn't been destined for crime from an early age. His youth carried no mark of infamy, and at first he genuinely tried to make a living through honest businesses, running cleaning services and even barbershops. Yet the profits were slim, and the struggle constant. It didn't take long for him to realize where the real money was, the wealth, the power. It all lay in smuggling forbidden goods. Step by step, Paul Green found himself drawn deeper into the world of drugs. It was here that he saw his true opportunity. No longer content with small-time ventures, he began operating within large-scale smuggling routes. While most criminals focused on selling drugs on the streets, Paul understood something others did not. The real fortune was made by bringing narcotics across borders. He quickly evolved into a logistics specialist. He became the man criminal organizations relied on to move shipments from places like the Netherlands, Spain, and North Africa into the United Kingdom. Behind a carefully crafted facade of front companies and warehouses, he built an intricate network. Shipments of narcotics were cleverly hidden among everyday products: onions, garlic, even ginger. With such methods, enormous quantities slipped past customs without raising suspicion. What made him truly dangerous was his ability to operate in plain sight without ever arousing suspicion. He wasn't just running a smuggling network. He had built a finely tuned international machine. His reach stretched deep into the Netherlands, Spain, and the United Kingdom. Within his circle of trusted associates were men like Khalid Vazir, who set up bank accounts and front companies, and Sohail Qureshi, who managed logistics and maintained communication between international partners. But Green's empire went beyond drug smuggling alone. He also mastered the art of money laundering. The millions generated from his narcotics trade were funneled through front companies and seemingly legitimate businesses, washing his illicit profits clean. On paper, his criminal fortune appeared entirely legal, allowing him to live and operate in the open, shielded by a convincing facade of respectability. The scale of Paul Green's network was staggering. In cities like Sheffield, Leeds, and Preston, he maintained warehouses where drugs were stored after arriving in the United Kingdom. From these hidden stockpiles, shipments were quietly distributed across the country. These smuggling routes became the backbone of his empire, generating vast profits while drawing little suspicion. But as the years passed, so too did the technology of law enforcement evolve. And in the end, even an empire as vast and carefully constructed as Paul Green's proved vulnerable to exposure. In 2020, European authorities succeeded in cracking the encrypted messaging platform EncroChat. For years, criminals had relied on this system to communicate in secret, believing it was untouchable. But that illusion shattered overnight. Investigators suddenly gained access to millions of hidden messages. And with them, the true scale of Paul Green's network was finally revealed. Paul Green relied heavily on EncroChat to coordinate shipments, arrange meetings with partners, and even launder money. On the platform, he used the alias Duck Farmer, a code name that would soon become notorious. The intercepted messages offered investigators a complete picture of his empire, from the import of drugs to their distribution and the laundering of millions in profits. Armed with this intelligence, police and prosecutors launched large-scale raids across the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Spain. Overnight, Paul's carefully constructed empire was laid bare. For the first time, he realized his reign was over. What had seemed untouchable for years was now collapsing before his eyes. Investigators uncovered mountains of evidence, not only about the smuggling itself, but also about Paul Green's connections with other powerful European crime networks. His lavish lifestyle, filled with expensive watches, jewelry, and luxury cars, revealed just how much he had profited from the trade. Authorities knew it was only a matter of time before his arrest. In 2021, Paul Green was finally taken into custody. During his trial, shocking details emerged about the scale and sophistication of his smuggling empire. He faced charges of drug trafficking, money laundering, and participation in organized crime. Judge Paul Orton left no room for doubt during the trial. Paul Green's network, he declared, had caused immeasurable harm to British society. This case was not just about money. It was about the harsh reality of addiction, misery, and death that his trade had inflicted. In 2024, Paul Green was sentenced to 32 years in prison, and with that, the reign of one of Britain's most notorious drug smugglers finally came to an end. But Paul Green was not the only one to face justice. His close associates, including Khalid Vizier and several others, were also arrested and handed lengthy sentences. In total, more than 246 years of prison time was issued to members of his criminal network. Among those convicted were two Dutch nationals, 55-year-old Johannes V. and 54-year-old Barbara R. from Utrecht. Both played a crucial role in Green's organization and were sentenced in the United Kingdom to 20 and 18 years in prison, respectively. There was also another Dutch-speaking member of the gang from Liverpool, Russell L., who received a prison sentence of nearly 25 years. Yet the downfall of Paul Green did not mark the absolute end of his empire. His organization was so vast that others quickly stepped forward, eager to seize control. For law enforcement, the lesson was clear. As long as demand for drugs persists, there will always be someone ready to take his place. Bringing down one man, or even one gang, is never enough. The entire structure must be dismantled. Paul Green's network had a profound impact on British society and its economy. The profits from his drug empire fueled violence, corruption, and left deep scars across the country's criminal underworld. But despite the major victory of dismantling his operation, authorities were forced to confront a painful truth. Organized crime continued to evolve at a staggering pace. With encrypted communication, false identities, and ever more sophisticated smuggling routes, criminals often stayed one step ahead of the police. Paul Green stood as living proof of how technology and cunning methods were making law enforcement's job increasingly difficult. Yet this case also carried an important lesson. Its success was only possible through international cooperation, most notably between the British and Dutch authorities. Their joint efforts prove that while criminals may hide behind technology, persistence, collaboration, and the right tools can bring down even the most powerful networks. For Britain, this story is both a warning and a victory. It shows that even the most sophisticated empires can be dismantled, but it also makes clear that criminals constantly adapt and the fight is never truly over. The lessons learned from Paul Green's rise and fall will shape how law enforcement tackles international crime in the years to come. Because as long as figures like Green exist, authorities must remain vigilant. The question is not if a new criminal powerhouse will emerge, but when. Has the capture of Paul Green truly made Britain safer, or has it simply opened the door for the next criminal mastermind? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.